look at the President's Trophy race. Ridiculous would be the word to describe the pace the Lightning are on. Or historic. People always talk about the 76-77 Canadiens, and they say, no one will ever match that. 132 points. Look at what Tampa Bay has done to this point. Granted, there was no overtime point then, but 60 wins, 12 ties, 8 losses. Truly one of the teams that the more you talk to hockey people, they mention again and again and again. Can you put into perspective how surprising it is, or not at all, that we're seeing this from the Bolts this year?
I don't know, because part of me thinks that it's surprising because we haven't seen it, but then I look at the build of this team and what they have been building for years, and you can go back to when Steve Yzerman was there making these deals, and I think it all started with Steven Stamkos re-signing there and signing at a pretty reasonable hit, where it kind of set the bar for everyone else coming in, and they've got some great deals on players. They've drafted well. I mean, they have no weaknesses. So I am surprised we haven't seen it, but then you look at this roster, I expect them to win almost every single night.
Yeah, they're stacked. I mean, make no mistake about it, they're stacked. They're stacked in the net. Vasilevsky's one of the best in the world. They did a great job with him. The way they've developed him with Ben Bishop along as well, who was great for them. And now even bringing in Louis Domingue. When Vasilevsky was out, Domingue played really well. Their goalie coach has done a nice job there. And the defensive core is very deep. A deep defensive core. They're long, they're rangy, they're all mobile, they can skate, they can all shoot. And then up front, they're stacked with 4 lines right now, so they can give it to you any way you want it. From a skill standpoint, my only thing that I'm curious to see is come Stanley Cup playoff time. You started speaking about this earlier when you said it's a different season in the back half of the season. Come playoff times, when there's a little bit more physical hockey in the ring.
You mean like Washington did to them last year?
That's right. That's what I'm curious to see. But this team is stacked.
And they went to the Eastern Conference Final last year. 3 times in the last 4 years they've done that. Here they are on pace to tie that 76-77 Habs team.
Incredible.
Weeksy just mentioned, and we think of Ken Dryden in the cage for that Habs team, Andrei Vasilevsky. When they went to the Cup Final in 2015, it's one of my favorite stories you tell. Vasi plays 2 games, starts when he's 20 years old. What does he tell you about it?
20 years old. I remember talking to him at the practice rink in Tampa, and Brandon specifically. I'm like, man, I was nervous for you. I was nervous. You got in there and played at 20 years old. And basically he was like, yeah, I play. Like, not a big deal.
Wow.
So that told me what his makeup, his mental makeup was. And again, at the time, they had an ace in Ben Bishop, who was great for them. 20 years old, that's my first year pro, equivalent to, coming out of junior. And he stepped in and played in the Stanley Cup Final and looked like a seasoned veteran. That's when I knew that they had something special in Andrei Vasilevsky.